Why sensitive people tend to forget everything that they've learned about logical people when they're happy and comfortable in a relationship. Hi, my name is Leah Chantel. Today I'm talking about why sensitive people, even if they've been studying about relationships, even if they're very educated or they've taken a lot of time to meditate or develop themselves, tend to forget their wisdom and their life lessons when they're in the throes of a comfortable relationship. I am all for sensitive people following their intuition, especially when they're in relationships. Sometimes sensitive people become so comfortable in the relationship that they forget to think about the needs of the other person. They get so used to their own needs being met in a comfortable way that they're not thinking about how they're giving necessarily, or they're over giving in the wrong way to the other person. They're giving in the way they assume they want to receive, but they forget about the needs of the logical person and give in ways that they don't satisfy the needs of the logical person. It's like we have amnesia and we haven't really decoded the relationship emotionally, although we may know the information intellectually on how to decode the emotions of a logical person and how to meet their needs. The intellect seems to forget this information and it slips off of the top of our heads when we're happy and comfortable in relationship, and we just assume that everything's going to continue the way it has been and it's okay to let our standards slide. And this is the time we really need to be on guard and paying attention the most. This is when logical people know that we are getting comfortable, and that's when they're gonna slide in their bad behavior if we're not paying attention. This is the time they may slip in like a negative comment, or they might disappear on us temporarily and then they come back. This is the time they tend to misbehave because they're seeing that we are feeling totally comfortable and confident with them, and they want to create a little bit of insecurity in us so they can get what they want, which is a little bit of spice and adventure from their end. They want to see if they can create a bit of drama or a bit of spice. And sometimes logical people will actually tell us to do the wrong thing as sensitive people. I'll just give you an example. I don't recommend that sensitive people propose for marriage in general, regardless of who is that sensitive person in the relationship. But if the logical person is kind of slipping in like, hey, you can be the one to propose in this relationship, I don't recommend doing it unless you're not really a sensitive person. And if you're not a sensitive person, you're probably not gonna watch this channel and be absorbing this advice. But if you are somebody who resonates with this advice and you do watch the channel, I don't really recommend being the one to propose for marriage, because that puts you in too vulnerable of a position, even if logical people kind of slide in a comment and tell you to do that. So logical people will kind of slide in comments sometimes to kind of tease you as a sensitive person and tell you to do the wrong thing, but it's not the actual thing that will meet their needs. It's actually the thing that will freak them out a little bit if you actually do it and you take it as real constructive feedback. It's a little bit of a trick that they do to just see if you're still keeping your standards high, if you're still paying attention in the relationship. And as a sensitive person, it's not really fun to face these tests. If there's too many of them, then maybe this is the relationship that's not for you. But if there's the occasional test peppered in there, that just means the logical person is a human, and maybe it's okay to forgive because it's not like over cheating or over disloyalty in some form, right? Another trick I've seen logical people do is they're saying that they want children to their partners nowadays. And it's very interesting because it's possible that could be their sincere intention, but it's a bit of a trap. It's a trap if you say, I agree and I want children too, because they've trapped you into thinking that they're the partner for you, that they actually want commitment and they'll get you hooked by getting you to agree with them. Or if you go the other way and you say you don't want children, it's also kind of a trick because then they have an excuse to dump you later down the line. Even if you flip your position and say, hey, actually, I want children after all, they would say they won't believe you. And so it's tricky. What I would do is just agree with them on whatever they want, but then just take it with a grain of salt and don't bring it up again and just take it as if they hadn't said anything. Like, just don't really pay attention to these kinds of comments. Or if they say that they want marriage or commitment of some kind, what I would say is like, lightly agree with it and change the topic and don't expect anything, because it's kind of a game. It's a game to either keep you really interested and get you really engaged and desperate for their attention, or it's an excuse for them to break up with you down the line if you say you disagree, right? And they may not even really mean it. It's really hard to say because they have a good poker face. The only way you'll really know for sure is through their actions over time to see if they follow through on anything. That's the real test with a logical person. Don't really take their words to mean very much at face value, because it can all be a game or a trick. But also don't accuse them of playing games or tricks, because otherwise they're going to switch the tricks and the games around on you. Just pretend like everything's cool and just be like, okay, sure, but then also don't really believe them. Wait until they've taken action to back up whatever they've said before you actually believe anything that they say. And that's a way that you can stay on guard when you're in a relationship with them, and you really just go for the things that they actually do in the relationship, but don't take what they say too seriously. Logical people know to dangle our need for security like a carrot in front of us, sensitive people. So we need to be really aware of that and pay attention to when they're doing that. It's not a very nice thing to do if they're not backing up their words with action. And so the only way we find out if they're really honest and they have integrity is to observe them over a period of time. And if we ever figure out that they're not telling the truth, then we stay true to ourselves and we let them go.